She deleted 37 text messages the night before she called the police. 37. Not because he threatened her, not because he hit her, but because she was afraid no one would believe her, because from the outside, he looked like the perfect man. And she had the photos to prove it. The roses on her desk every Monday morning, the handwritten notes tucked into her coat pocket, the weekend trips she never had to ask for, the way he looked at her, like she was the only woman who had ever existed. She had screenshot every one of those moments. She had shown them to her mother, to her best friend, to herself. On the nights when something felt wrong but she couldn't name what, she kept them like evidence. Evidence that this was real. Evidence that she wasn't crazy. Evidence that she was, finally, loved. And what she didn't know then, what took her 2 years, a restraining order, and 12 sessions of therapy to understand, is that every single one of those moments was a weapon, disguised as love, aimed directly at her. And she had walked straight into it, with her whole heart open. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is something most people will never learn until it's too late. Her name was Maya. Her name was Maya, 31 years old, marketing manager, Chicago, smart enough to have built a career she was proud of, emotionally intelligent enough to have ended 2 relationships that weren't right for her, self-aware enough to be in therapy by choice, not crisis. Maya was not naive. Maya was not broken. Maya was not someone you could fool easily, and that is exactly why he chose her. His name was Daniel. And Daniel didn't stumble into Maya's life. He studied it. He learned what she needed before she said it out loud. He memorized the gaps, the places where she still felt unseen, unchosen, not quite enough. And then he filled every single one of them perfectly. On their first date, he said something that made her breath catch in her throat. "I feel like I've been waiting to meet someone like you my whole life." She laughed it off. Too much, too soon, she thought. But the next morning, a text. "I can't stop thinking about our conversation. When can I see you again?" And the morning after that, a voicemail. His voice, warm, unhurried. "Just wanted to hear yours." Within 2 weeks, he had memorized her coffee order, her favorite author, the name of the childhood dog she mentioned exactly once. He remembered everything. And he was present in a way no man had ever been. He made her feel seen, truly, completely, finally seen. And Maya, cautiously at first, then completely, let herself fall. But here is what Maya did not know. Every text, every flower, every perfectly timed voicemail, every moment that felt like magic was not spontaneous. It was scripted. What is love bombing? Love bombing is not love. Let's be very clear about that before we go any further. Love bombing is a psychological manipulation tactic, most commonly used by narcissists and dark personality types, where one person deliberately overwhelms another with affection, attention, and adoration, not because they feel it, but because they need something from you. Control, validation, power. The term was first used in the 1970s to describe how cults recruited members. And think about that for a moment. Cults. Because love bombing works on the exact same psychological mechanism. It doesn't appeal to your weakness. It exploits your greatest strength, your capacity to love and be loved. It bypasses your logic, your instincts, your gut, and it floods your brain with dopamine, the same chemical released when you win money, eat sugar, or take certain drugs. You begin to associate that person with pleasure, with safety, with home. You are not falling in love with them. You are falling in love with how they make you feel. And that distinction, that one devastating, invisible distinction, is the entire architecture of the trap. The signs, and why you miss them now. If you are watching this and thinking, I would never fall for something like that, I need you to stay humble with me for a moment. Because love bombing doesn't look like manipulation, it looks like a dream. Here are the signs most people only recognize in hindsight. Sign 1. The pace is impossible. Real love builds slowly. It deepens through time, through conflict, through choosing each other over and over again across months and years. Love bombing happens in weeks. If someone is talking about forever before they even know your last name, that is not passion. That is a pattern. Sign 2. The intensity feels like pressure. When someone genuinely loves you, their affection feels like warmth, safe, steady, unhurried. When someone is love bombing you, their affection feels like a current, pulling you forward faster than you are ready to go. You feel guilty for not matching their energy. You feel like you are always a step behind. And you feel, even if you cannot name it, off balance. Sign 3. It is about their narrative, not your reality. Love bombers do not fall in love with you. They fall in love with the idea of you, a version of you they have constructed to fulfill their own emotional needs. They project qualities onto you before they have ever truly seen you. They call you their soulmate before they have ever watched you cry, or lose your temper, or fall apart. They are not interested in your complexity. They want your compliance. Sign 4. Isolation begins quietly. This is the most dangerous sign, and the most subtle. It often sounds like love. I just want you all to myself. Your friends don't understand what we have. Why do you need to go out when you could be here with me? It sounds like devotion. It feels like being chosen. Well, but it is the first wall of a cage being built around you while you smile and call it love. Before we go further, if this video is already making you think of someone or making you think of yourself, subscribe to Mind Vault right now, because what's coming next, the part most channels never talk about, is the moment the trap snaps shut, and you need to be here for it. Hit subscribe. Stay with me. The moment the mask breaks 6 weeks in, everything changed. It started small, so small she almost missed it. Maya canceled one dinner with Daniel. One. A college roommate she hadn't seen in 8 months was in town for a single night. Daniel said he understood. His voice was warm, calm. Of course. Have fun. She exhaled, and then her phone lit up. All 9:47 p.m. Are you having fun? 10:12 p.m. Who else is there? 10:38 p.m. You seem different lately. Are we okay? 11:03 p.m. I miss you. I thought we had something real. 11:29 p.m. Fine, I get it. 11:31 p.m. Sorry, I just love you so much it scares me. 14 messages. Before midnight. She left her friend's dinner early. She drove home in silence, and she spent the rest of the night reassuring him, apologizing for seeing her friend. That was the night Maya didn't realize what had happened. Daniel had tested the cage, and she had walked back in, on her own, without him touching the door. Then, everything accelerated. The good morning texts became interrogations. Why did it take you an hour to respond? The compliments became comparisons. My ex would never have made me feel this way. I hope you're not going to disappoint me. The devotion became debt. After everything I have done for you, after everything I have sacrificed, I just need you to do this one thing." She started shrinking, watching her words before she said them, calculating his mood before she walked through the door, apologizing for things she didn't do, apologizing for things she couldn't control, apologizing for existing in a way that inconvenienced him. And the worst part, she still loved him. Or she loved who he had been. She was chasing a ghost, a version of Daniel that had been engineered to make her fall, and had evaporated the moment she was fully inside. Psychologists call this phase devaluation. After the love bombing hooks the target, after they are emotionally dependent, after they are cut off from the people who would tell them the truth, the narcissist withdraws the love. Not all at once, in pieces, enough warmth to keep you hoping, enough coldness to keep you desperate. And that alternation, that unpredictable, agonizing rhythm of hot and cold, is neurologically more addictive than consistent love, because your brain starts working for the reward. Every kind word becomes a hit. Every moment of warmth feels like oxygen. Researchers call it trauma bonding. It is the same mechanism that keeps people in cults, in hostage situations, in abusive homes. It is not weakness. It is not stupidity. It is what happens to a human brain under sustained psychological pressure. And in the night it all collapsed for Maya. She was sitting in her car, in a grocery store parking lot, crying so hard she couldn't see the steering wheel, on the phone with her sister, who she hadn't spoken to in 6 weeks, because Daniel had made her feel guilty every single time she called. Her sister didn't say, "I told you so." She just said, "Maya, you haven't laughed in 2 months. I miss your laugh." And something in Maya cracked open. She thought about who she was before Daniel. The woman who danced in her kitchen on Saturday mornings, who stayed up too late reading novels, who had opinions she wasn't afraid to say out loud, who laughed easily and loved freely and took up space without apologizing for it. She'd been dismantled, piece by piece, affection by affection, guilt trip by guilt trip. She rebuilt into someone who existed only to stabilize a man who could not be stabilized. That night, she did not go back to his apartment. She drove to her sister's house, and she began the long, non-linear, deeply human process of finding her way back to herself. The truth about real love. If any part of Maya's story felt familiar, if you have ever felt swept away so fast you forgot to ask if it was real, if you have ever felt guilty for needing space from someone who claimed to adore you, then I need you to hear this clearly. It was not your fault. Love bombing works because it targets the most beautiful parts of being human. Your desire to be chosen, your hunger to be truly seen, your hope that this time, this person is different. That is not weakness. That is your humanity, and it deserves to be protected. Here is what real love actually looks like. Real love respects your pace. Real love does not make you feel insane for having boundaries. Real love grows with you. It does not try to consume you. Real love feels like rest, not rescue, not obsession, not a current pulling you somewhere you didn't choose to go. Rest. And if the love in your life feels more like drowning than breathing, it is worth asking one question: is this love, or is this a trap that was built to look like love? And you deserve someone who loves the real you. The slow to trust, still healing, complicated, and beautiful version of you. Not a projection, not a performance designed to pull you in. You. If this video helped you see something you couldn't name before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you are not subscribed to Mind Vault yet, subscribe right now. Every week we go deep into dark psychology, manipulation tactics, and the hidden patterns that shape human behavior, so you can see the world and the people in it with clear eyes. Knowledge is not just power. Knowledge, real knowledge, is the only thing that sets you free. I will see you in the next one.